I wanted to bring voice to some different things I've been unpacking around creativity, around dopamine, around devotion, around finding your voice, and how to lean into your boldest edge around all of this. So, woo, buckle up. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think we can all agree that we are living in such weird times in the world. And I like to say weird and wonderful instead, because no matter what is going on in the world, you always have a choice of how you respond to this world, right? And even better yet, a question I would ask yourself is, what is the world that you are creating, right? Especially as an entrepreneur, a creative, a leader, even a CEO, you are creating a world of your own, right? So what is that world that you are creating and perpetuating that others get to come and join, right? So we are world builders. You're building a world of your own, and in this world you have your set of standards, your set of values, and most importantly, your creativity is the fuel for this world, right? And so with what's all the craziness that's going on right now in the external world, it is such a high value skill to be able to remain like in your inner alignment, right? Remain in your inner truth, remain in your inner power. And this is something that I have created a lifestyle around, right? So in the morning when I wake up, I spend the first hour or a few hours really just diving into my own energy and, doing different types of things, whether it's movement, meditation, journaling, really tuning into my own energy, going inward, right? And so what's the direction of your energy? And what I find, when you go inward first, really tap into your own truth and alignment and creativity, then when you start to overflow outside of you, example like this type of video, you can more easily tap into your voice. You can share your truth. You have something unique to say, right? And I was thinking about something last week. I was talking with one of my peers, and we were kind of chuckling, right? Because there's this theme nowadays where a lot of people in their marketing will say like, oh, you want to stand out, something like that. And for me, what I have recognized as true is all of the things that you want is a byproduct, If you want to stand out, the moment you try to stand out, you're already fitting yourself into some template or formula, right? Or prescription, basically. So standing out is a byproduct of something else, right? Making more money is a byproduct of something else. So all of these things that you want in your life, if you just try and focus on those things, you've already basically failed yourself, right? So standing out, being creative, making more money, making an impact, creating your own world through your brand, these are byproducts of something else, right? And that something else always starts with going inward, right? It doesn't start with going outward. If you start going outward, you're just basically creating what's already in the world, because you're tapping into what's already out there. And a lot of that isn't the highest and greatest of what's possible for you to create, right? And so, yeah, my peer and I were chuckling that the moment you're trying to stand out is the moment you're really just blending in, right? And this could be said about so many different things. So I've really been unpacking. Hi, Nam, how are you? I've really been thinking about and unpacking dopamine. And dopamine is like the danger nowadays, right? And tuning into, where is dopamine ruling my life instead of allowing me to go deeper inward and deeper into my truth and finding my voice, right? And I'm sure you can relate to that as well, Nam. So So much of social media and this modern world that we live in is designed to get us hooked on dopamine, right? These apps are set up like gambling, like casinos, and the food nowadays is set up to give you a rush, like sugar, and even Netflix and streaming apps. They're all designed to keep you on them longer and give you this rush of dopamine, which makes you feel good. But at the end of the day, it's at a deficit of your own devotional practices, right? So instead of being ruled by these cheap dopamine hits, nowadays I feel like the rebellion is being devoted to your craft, continually getting better, continually tapping into your own creativity, continually finding your voice and sharing it in new ways, and continually expanding your perception of reality and who you are, right? So yesterday, I was listening to the most incredible interview with Jacob Collier, and I was so inspired by what he was saying, and so much of it rang true for me. And literally it just kind of blew my mind, because I saw like a lot of the things he was sharing made so much sense to me, and I'll unpack this right now, and made me realize how, this marketing world, he used these great terms like bright packaging and competitive psychology, and this hit me like a lightning bolt. I was like, yes, this is what is ruining our world, basically, where more people are more focused on just creating bright packaging and competitive psychology instead of spending their time devoting themselves to true creativity, daily flow state, and creating from this place, right? And another thing that I loved, he said, is nobody knows what's going on. Literally, nobody knows what's going on, and in this weird and wonderful world that we're living in, I believe the true leadership and the true power comes from knowing you don't have it all figured out, knowing there's always more of yourself to learn, right? And something he said, which I was like, oh, this is so true, was, the moment you know who you are, you've stopped learning. And I was like, oh my God, it's so true, right? The moment you think you've figured it all out is the moment you've stopped learning and you've stopped remaining open, right? There's an infinite amount of layers that we get to learn about ourselves and the world and who we are. And we are not like this stagnant, being, right? Your being is ever evolving. And the moment you think you know who you are is this moment where you've closed yourself off to deeper opportunities. And another thing I loved about this conversation, which I think I lead myself this way in my life, but I haven't communicated about it online or in my courses and things, but I think this is actually so true, right? Is the true value of creativity and being connected to finding your voice and bringing a contribution to humanity. It's like giving yourself space to be really bad, giving yourself space to fail, giving yourself space to not know what's going to happen next, giving yourself permission to just be really bad at something, right? I feel like there's this huge pressure nowadays that we need to get it perfect and right the first time. And this is, such a limiting perspective on being a creator, right? Being a creator is literally about putting yourself in this the middle, Jacob had this great visual terminology that I loved. It was something like, I think I wrote it right here, being in the middle of a tornado of presence, and I think if you are a creative person, you really understand what that means. And when you're in the middle of this tornado of presence and you're creating through this energy, you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't always even know like exactly where you're heading, right? But that next step becomes clear to you. And then you take it, and then you take the next one, and then all of a sudden you have created something amazing, whether it's a world, like an epic song that moves people, or a new curriculum, a new terminology and understanding of how to, do something, or a new innovative product, like whatever it is that you are doing in your work, in your craft, right? When you put yourself in that tornado of creativity and presence, that's actually where the magic happens, right? And we're sold this package of certainty nowadays in all this marketing and all this way that we're communicated to online, saying, I have all the answers, that's why you should buy my product or service. And actually, this is like such a disservice to where an actual creative genius like is born, right? And of course, there's people with experience. Like I have certain experiences that, have led people to certain types of results. But I'm always open to their inputs and their truth and their way. And it's like, making space for that, right? And I think we're addicted to certainty in this weird and wonderful world that we're living in. And this addiction to certainty actually removes us from the very thing that makes us feel the most fulfilled, the most creative, the most turned on by life. And I think that's very sad, right? And even I can share an example of something recent, right? I went through this very sudden ending of something, and it kind of shook me at the core. And my first reaction after that was, I need to find certainty in my life from this experience, right? And then once that wore off, it's like, oh no, I actually just need to feel the feelings of what just happened, process them, and then allow myself to find my way in this new understanding, right? So we all search for certainty because it makes us feel like we're in control, right? But again, I would say that my best programs, my best branding, my best posts, my best live streams, my best everything has not came from, this is exactly what I want to create here, right? It's like usually I have maybe like 30% of an idea of like what it wants to be, and then I run with that, right? And then as I take each step, the next steps become more and more clear. And I think this is actually true leadership, because none of us even know what's going on. I've said this a few times in this live stream. And if you can trust yourself as an artist, a being, a creator, a leader, a business owner, if you can trust yourself to play in this creative tornado of presence, you're actually gonna get more done. You're gonna feel more fulfilled. This is what I'm saying is, this is actually when you stand out. This is actually when you'll call in more abundance and opportunity and sales and things into your business, right? And this is actually your boldest edge. So this is a great segue. I want to share with you something that I created in December, a new space, and it came from this energy, right? So I had been spending a lot of my time in recent years offline, really just focused on high-level one-to-one work, getting my clients insane results, getting them to multi-six figures in 6 to 9 months, where before they only had like 30 to 70K years, getting them to 6-figure quarters and 50K pay-in-fulls and becoming 25K pay-in-full magnets, like over 200K and just 25K sales. Like these insane things started happening, right? And then as I started coming back online and talking about this, I realized that I actually wanted to create community. I wanted to be able to do this work in a community space where we all got to rise together. And that's actually where Boldest Edge came from, right? So in December, I tuned into this energy of what does it actually mean to live life on your boldest edge, right? And everything I just shared in this live stream is it, right? It's knowing that no one has it all figured out, but trusting yourself to create and be in your flow state of creativity and creation. And from that place, you know that amazing things are going to happen, right? So your boldest edge in any given moment will be different, right? In your personal life, in your business life, in your fitness life, your, spiritual life. You have all these different aspects of yourself. And how often are we playing it comfortable? Or are we playing it safe, right? Because maybe we're scared of rejection, scared of failure, scared of success, scared of something, right? Maybe scared of something that's invisible. It's not even real, but our mind puts these stories into our heads, right? And says, oh, that could happen, so I shouldn't take any action. And that's just your survival brain hijacking your reality, right? It's all a lie. It's an illusion, right? And when you're playing at your boldest edge, it's really about going beyond your mind, tapping into your heart and your body's wisdom and creating everything from that place, right? And when you're showing up from that place, your body, your heart, your different organs, they all have a voice. And this is why I love to use human design as well, because we all have defined and undefined centers, right? And actually, my heart is undefined. And I just made a process in my mastermind chat about this, where I was saying, if I want to tune into my own energy and get clarity and direction, if I tuned into my heart, which is undefined, it would actually be a conditioned answer. It wouldn't be the purest form of intelligence that I should act on, right? And so for me, I have my G center defined, which is my identity. And if I tune into that center for clarity and direction, I will get the most present, the most activated, clearest voice of what I should do next. And that's actually where I get my insights, right? Following as well my authority, which is a splenic authority. So this is why I love to use human design. But anyways, on your boldest edge, it's generally not from what your head is trying to construct, right? We want to deconstruct, dismantle the scaffolding and be able to come and drop into your body and create from that place. And that does feel edgy. That's why it's boldest edge, right? So this is my mastermind. This is what my mastermind is all about, and essentially all of my work, even one-to-one and just how I think, right? It's on your boldest edge. And if we were to look at even this word boldest, I think each person will have their own perspective of what boldest means. And I think even every single day I have a different energy that comes through when I think about boldest. What is my boldest today, right? And sometimes boldest means clearest. Sometimes boldest means fieriest. Sometimes boldest means softest, Sometimes boldest means, relaxed. And so each and every single day I'm tuning into, and everyone in my mastermind, we're tuning into what is our boldest edge right now. And then we act from that place, right? We don't wait around. We don't wait for permission. We don't try to have it all figured out first. We don't show up over controlling. We just tune in. We know what we're available for, and we act, right? And when you lead your life in this way, you can create such amazing things that seem miraculous, right? Like one of the girls in the mastermind, in the first 2 weeks of joining, she already received over 10K. And she hadn't had a $10,000 month in years, right? By tapping into this energy. So yeah, I'm very excited to share this conversation with you guys. I'd love to hear how it's landing if you're live now or watching the replay. And I would also love to invite you. This week I'm opening new spaces for my mastermind. So if you want to know more, hit me up in the DMs. I'd love to chat and see if this is the space for you. And you can also check on my Facebook. I made a post yesterday that goes into more details. But honestly, let's see here if I had other things I wanted to share. Living through deeper meaning, and yet no one really knows what's going on, right? So coming back again, I do want to segue this back into dopamine a little bit, and then we will end this off. So I've been really thinking about something. I heard this brain doctor, I forget his name, I wish I remembered, but he's the brain doctor that helped like Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, all these like big celebrities. He was saying in this modern world, we burn out our pleasure centers of the brain so fast, and that's why so many of us feel deeply unsatisfied and deeply unfulfilled, right? Even if you're like the most self-aware person, I still believe that our pleasure centers get burnt out in this modern world. Kind of coming back to what I was sharing earlier about dopamine. But also, this is where like self-awareness and like self-preservation comes in, where you have to be a ninja in this modern world and say, I'm not gonna just do like the easiest thing all day, every day because I can. I wanna actually challenge myself, right? And the easiest thing would be just to sit around, watch Netflix all day and eat candy and, watch the world go by, right? Being a passive observer rather than an active participant of life, right? And I know for me, I feel the most alive, the most fulfilled when I'm challenging myself, right? This is why I like to go to the gym. I like to lift heavy weights. I like to continually learn new things. I like to put myself out there, even this live stream, right? It's like, I knew since Monday I wanted to talk about all these things, and even the first 5 minutes before jumping on this live stream, I was feeling nerves and, just allowing myself to feel all that stuff and doing it anyway, right? And this will create a natural rush of good chemicals in my body by doing the hard thing rather than the easy thing, right? So cheap dopamine doesn't actually satisfy you. It's a quick hit and then it's gone and you're back to feeling like, oh, what else is there? Get the next quick hit. But when you really work for it, you value it more and your brain will produce longer, happier, hey Seth, chemicals in your body like dopamine, like good dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, all these things that actually fuel you for longer, right? So don't get caught up in this modern world that tells you, you don't have to work hard and everything gets to be easy. Like it is true, but there needs to be a balance here, right? And if you're willing to live on your boldest edge of challenging yourself and actually thinking about stuff and actually pouring into your creativity and allowing yourself to create from this power place, you're gonna feel so much better about yourself and you're gonna have longer lasting happy chemicals filling your body, which will then therefore make you wanna do more of this stuff that's fueling you, and you're gonna forget all about how you felt unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled by doing these, things that our modern world tells us that we should be doing. Hi Tim, how are you? Oh my gosh, you have to go watch the replay. This has literally been insane and I'm so happy to see you guys here. And we've talked about a lot of stuff today around finding your voice, dopamine, devotion, creativity, flow state, boldest edge, like so many amazing things. I'm so happy to see you guys here. And this is kind of the end of this live stream now. I've been riffing for almost 30 minutes. So if you're just tuning in, I highly recommend go watch the replay. I'm gonna post that right now, and I'm sending you guys so much love. I know that you're doing the real work in this world, and I'm rooting for you, celebrating you, and I know that, yeah, this this is the way. So please share this if you got value, and if you'd like to hear more about my mastermind, I'm inviting you in with open arms. We are gonna rock it this summer into the end of the year, help you grow and build your business, your brand, your creativity, boost those sales up, and most importantly, get you living on your boldest edge in every single freaking way, and how good that will feel.